Some comments, I really do. I like some comments, don't care about you. I like some comments.
We can never go home then, to kick this one off. And I picked up this slick 5-parter in a cheapo job lot for next to note. And first thing that popped in my head here, looking at front cover, were how much it looked to me like some kind of 21st century twirl round floor, such well worn kit, you know, like Badlands, Mickey and Mallory, and that Boss Sonic Youth cover. But a mere 5 or 6 pages into its setup, and you're second guessing yourself already. And we get the lowdown on what is and what is not. While we also get an angle on some burden bearing bridge building, along with some appropriately teenage friendly ham-fisted cultural references regarding hit bands and whatnot. Because that's what they're like, into these teenagers, these hit bands and whatnot. Then to try and seal the deal, your man makes a public proclamation in the school cafe via the old tried and tested mixtape move. And though the track listing reads like a lazy who's who of alternative music for folk who honestly believe themselves to be alternative, she digs it the most all the same, and heads over pronto to show her appreciation by using her magic muscles to lamp 7 bells out of yon lad's bullying old fella before they hit the road. And from there it's a relatively cliched comical cartwheel through a handful of issues until the fairly abrupt end is reached, which might be satisfactory for some, but it felt like it came courtesy of a shoe-on to me. Like maybe an issue or two too soon, somehow. Perhaps it got plug pulled, eh? Who knows? I'll be darned if I'm researching it anymore. So if you know any different, and you're thinking about putting it in comments or whatever, meh. Now then, welcome to paradise. Jonah Hex is one of these here characters who I've dipped into down years. Kinda got me fill of, dipped out again. Partly because I've got to be in mood for certain stuff, coupled with the hard to argue against assertion that I'm a lazy get with the attention span of, I don't know, man. I forgot what I was going to say there, innit? Do you see? Any road, he's a character alright, he's our Jonah. Absolutely zero doubt about that. And this gives us a good gander at some of his early exploits as a top drawer gun for hire. And he's not the sort of fella to be trifled with. And you better not try and manhandle his steed either, lest you get a good lamp in teeth. But there's clearly more to him than the heartless heathen most folk seem to reckon him for, though he plays his cards close to his chest in that respect, and is more than happy to forcefully fend off any attempts at emotional bonding of any kind, saving particularly well-aimed vitriolic pot shots for young children in particular. And he's happy to take the rise out of any wire-haired sycophant he runs across while he's at it, though like most aloof gunslingers, he leaves a squadron of doughy-eyed fools in his wake. But as per the penny starts to drop on how not everyone is in awe of his seemingly endless trail of blood and bullets, and the odd obligatory flashback scene helps put a bit of meat round Jonah's bones, and it's clear killing hasn't always sat so easy with him. And he's not a bad un. Not really. Certainly not how most folks seem to reckon, any road. But barely an issue slips by without some dim-witted, hot-headed trump making 5 out of 2 twos and trying to put a nasty noose round old Jonah's throat. And the more he keeps on keeping on, the more corners he seemingly paints himself into. Quite willingly, some of them. So make of that what you will. Yeah, this trade paperback collection is as good as any place I've seen to get a decent handle on what gives in Jonah Hex's head. Certainly early doors, and the backstory is serviceable enough. And like I say, you're rooting for him from the off as he guns down endless reams of numpties who are either too greedy or too gormless to know any better. Kicked off in weird westerns though, didn't it? A lot of his stuff. Is it weird though? No. Not weird, really. That comes later on beyond this book, when the hex really starts to come into its own, and young fella spends entire issues getting himself mixed up with oddball snake oil salesmen and ghostly pianos and that. Then it starts getting weird. I Wicked Righteous to finish us off then this time, and I'd never even heard of this before I picked it up on spec, to be honest. But, as you all know, seeing as how I'm an absolute sucker for anyone stood in front of a flag in a Kif Lemon showerproof jerkin, this were always going to rope me in, wouldn't it? Not sure about the kids' footwear, to be honest. A decade or so ago, I'd have sworn he were rocking what appeared to be like manky Crocs or whatever for some reason. But as your crafty kicks spoiling pals at Nike, etc., are giving serious sneakerheads the needle by knitting themselves into a khaki Kanye corner, you never know, do you? He might be right up there, this lad. Jesus. Meanwhile, inside we have one of them there post-apocalyptic blind faith questioning moments. You know them, that helps set the scene somewhat before we skip a few years on to witness inevitable cracks appearing once everything starts to settle down a bit. And from there on it sets its stall out right enough, but feels clunky. Yeah, it feels clunky as really, dialogue-wise especially. Coming on at times like one of them badly translated jobs, you know, where they skate round everything, trying to pad it out, while all and sundry are scratching the noggins as to what the frig's actually going down. So, diligent, stoical souls that we are, we try and properly pin down, who might be zooming who and all that. But having our hard work cut out somewhat chronic, as it all starts looking like it's a blindly dubbed film version job, with words not always fitting the pictures or current tone, not at all, and so on. I couldn't make head nor tail of it in some respects, but not in a good way, you know. This is no ordinary journey. Absolutely no way. 6 issues long is this here Wicked Righteousness, though it felt far too much of a chore than something like this ever should, and I bailed out after 3. You're going to judge me at all? Don't judge me too harshly, eh? I nearly chucked in towel at end of issue 2. issue 1 and all, if truth be known. So at least I had a crack, eh? But I'll go on my guts next time. Some out there might like it, who knows? Some folk are into all kinds of stuff, aren't they, these days? But, yeah. Not for me, man. Not for me.
Like me some comments.